We are starting the webinar, and this is just an introductory webinar on the Surveyor and Loss Assessor. Nowhere I am pretending to be completing, nowhere I am pretending that I have already completed the entire course. I have only cleared the examination of this Surveyor and Loss Assessor, and I would be sharing my knowledge about Surveyor and Loss Assessor. So everybody who is attending this webinar would be getting an idea how to proceed with it and what are the things they have to keep in mind while going through this particular journey, because many people are like unaware what steps to be followed and what are the practical difficulty they need, they might have to follow, might have to go through in this particular journey. So I am CA Abhishek Agarwal, and I have cleared this particular qualification: CA DISA DIRM, registered valuer, social auditor, BCom, MCom, UGC, NET, FAFD, and also cleared the examination of Surveyor and Loss Assessor. I am not a complete Surveyor and Loss Assessor, just cleared the examination, and I would be guiding you till the like how to clear the examination and all the steps like one have to go through it. So I would be sharing my entire knowledge in this particular webinar itself. So as I told that I have already cleared the examination. So these are the examination which I have cleared, and these are the particular marks which I have scored. And I usually help other people to clear the examinations. So the examinations were the principles and the practice of insurance and survey and loss assessment, in which I scored 69. Then IC 60 and 66, in which I scored 68. And then IC 56, in which I scored 80. And IC 78, in which I scored 80. And I cleared all the 4 examination in the first attempt itself. And approximately it took me 1 month of preparation. So what are the topics which are going to get covered in this particular webinar? So these are the topics like what is the survey and loss assessor, scope and the opportunities in this field, things to do before starting the enrollment process, procedure for the enrollment, procedure for registration, procedure for paper enrollment, procedure for slot booking, study material, exam pattern and details, and helpline numbers. And definitely this webinar is going to be very technical, and definitely it's going to be a boring one. So one should be prepared for it, take some water, and so that you can avoid your mental fatigue. So what is basically a surveyor and loss assessor? I won't be reading this literature, but I would be explaining in the practical world how this work. Whenever there is a case, like there is a claim with the insurer, then what happens that the insurer hires a surveyor and loss assessor, and that surveyor and loss assessor have to visit that particular site and assess that whether that loss is genuine or not and how much loss has been incurred. Like it can happen that the insured can claim that the loss is of 2 lakh rupees, and there is the role of the assessor that they have to visit that particular place and assess and quantify that how much is actual loss, whether it's 2 lakh or it should be 5 lakh or it should be 20,000. So in this case, then the insurer hire a surveyor and loss assessor, and then surveyor and loss assessor on behalf of the insurer checks whether the claim is justified or not. Now, what are the roles of the surveyor and loss assessor? So what does he do? Like they go to the place and investigate that what are the contingency, and then estimate, measure, and determine the quantum and the description of the subject matter under loss, and conduct inspection and re-inspection of the property in the question suffering a loss, conduct surveys as and when necessary, and comment upon the franchisee excess or under insurance and any other related matter. Like as I already told in the previous slide itself, that they visit the particular site and check whether the loss is genuinely presented or not, whether it's under insurance or it's the case of the excess insurance. So they would be verifying whether the loss is genuine or not, and also at the same time advise the insurer and insured about loss minimization. Like it might happen that the loss is incurred, but there can be some measure that can be taken so that the further loss is not being incurred. So in that case, like supposedly there is a fire took place, then what can surveyor can suggest that you can at least go to the particular place and can use the fire extinguisher and minimize the impact of the loss, or use the water, or call up the fire brigade and try to minimize the impact of the fire loss. So the surveyor also suggests that how you can minimize the impact of the loss so that the loss claim gets reduced. Now moving on to the scope and the opportunities in this particular field, like which I have been able to collect the data. Like I'm not into practically into this field, but these are the information which I have been able to collect from the surveyors who are actually practicing in India, and there are not much surveyor and loss assessor in India. So like I have been able to get an idea of like the assignment fee structure in this particular field, and it is like this. Like if the loss estimate is up to 30,000, then the fees is of 850 rupees. If the loss is 30,000 to 50,000, then the fees is 1200. Then if it's 50,000 to 1 lakh, then there would be the fees of 1500 rupees. If the loss estimate is between 1 lakh and 2 lakh, then the fees would be 2300. And if it is above 2 lakh rupees, then 2300 plus 0.7 of the remaining loss estimate. However, the structure fee structure keeps on changing from time to time. It's not necessary that this would be fixed fee structure while at the time when you would be becoming a surveyor. And also at the same time, I have also got to know from the surveyors who are actually practicing in the field that uh, theoretically there is a differentiation between the associate, licensate, and the fellow members, but in practically nowadays it is happening that even the licensate are getting the works of the fellow members. Like they are also getting the works up to 1 crore of loss, and they are being paid fees of 1.5 lakh rupees too. So these are theoretical fee structure. Practically there are things which is taking place which is not mentioned in theory. And also, since there are not as many surveyor and loss assessor in India, then so there is a high scope that if you pursue your career in the surveyor and loss assessor, then there would be high chance that if you continue to pursue this particular field, then you can earn on an average 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees per month. And also on an early what happens that you get assignments from the insurance companies where you are empaneled, and if you are like into the job, then there are the chances that the company would be paying you around like 6 to 7 lakh per annum. So either you can do like individual practice in this particular field, or you can also enter into some company and work as a salaried employee. So both the scopes are available in this particular field, and the fee structure keeps on changing. Now, these are the things to download before starting the enrollment. Like when the journey towards becoming the surveyor and loss assessor start with the enrollment. And this, what you need to do is like you have to go to a particular site, that is the 𝘼𝙃𝙃𝑎𝑏𝑎p.org, and in that you have to log in and register yourself, and you would be getting the user ID and password into your mail, and then you can log in and fill up the application form. Since I'm telling you all this theoretically, so you won't be able to visualize that how does it look. So for that particular purpose, what I have done that I have provided the links of the all the things, all the important things which you would be requiring in this particular journey. I have mentioned in this particular slide. Either you can take the screenshot of it, or also at the same time I have already uploaded a video in YouTube, so you can go through that particular video, and in that particular video also I have provided this particular slide, so you can take the screenshot right now, so that you can use this link to download the handbooks which are required to understand how this things works, and it would be helping you in your journey towards enrollment and then registration and then paper registration. So there are a lot many things and lot many websites are being involved. So it's very important that first you accumulate the resources first and then move along to the journey. Otherwise it would become a bit difficult for you to understand what one need to do in this particular journey. So I have provided the links. Go through the links and download all the resources and go through it. It would be helpful, it would be helpful for you to understand that what you need to do next. Like practically I would be saying like it had happened with me. Like I took coaching from somewhere, and because of that I wasn't given the proper information from time to time, and because of that my attempts were getting delayed and again getting delayed, because I wasn't having these kind of resources. But if I had this kind of resources, then I wouldn't had to depend upon some other tutor to tell me that when is the examination, when I do need to do the registration, when I need to do the paper slot booking. So this gets confusing. So it's really very important that you have the resources with you first on the first place, so that you don't have to depend upon other person to tell you. You can yourself go through the user manuals and can understand that what you need to do when. So these are very important resources which you need to download and go through to understand how the procedure works. After this, I would be explaining the procedure for enrollment, which is the first step. And for that, what you need to do is like you have to go to the iadabap.org.in. So though I'm saying all the things, these are in the theoretical manner. Obviously, when you would be going through the practical side, then you would be able to feel the difference. Let me share the screen and show you the site. Seems like the portal is under maintenance. Okay. So this is the particular site. When you log in, then you can be having this kind of profile. And from here, first you will have to fill up the detail, that is the user profile. Then you have to fill up the trainee detail. Then you will have to fill up the trainee detail, where you will have to upload the photos, recent passport size photo. Here you would have to upload the recent passport size photograph. Then you have to fill up the trainee details, and there within the trainee details, then you can see that surveyor training and enrollment. And here you will have to fill up all the details, that is the create new risk request. And if you are going for institutional training, then you have to fill the form IRDA 13. And if you are going for some trainer, like there is some kind of trainer available within your area, then you can just go for the create new request, and then you can select the request. And after the trainer accept the request, you would be able to continue the training from that particular trainer after you clear the examination. So during the enrollment, you would be choosing what kind of training you would be going through, but the training would start after you clear the examination. So you have to be very careful while you are choosing the training in this particular site during the enrollment, because it is going to definitely affect you at the later stage. Because what happens that if you are going to go under a training from a trainer, then at least you will have to serve for 6 months, and you have to go through the training for 6 months at least. And practically what happens that most of the time that practical training of 6 months get extended up to 1 year or 1.5 years also, because the surveyor are pretty reluctant to leave you pretty easy. So they try to take as much advantage as possible. So though in the manuals it is told that you have to undergo the training for the 6 months, but in practically though that goes up to 1 to 1.5 years too. And also at the same time, like one can think that they can go to the institutional training, like it has also been devised the second method in which you can undergo a training, institutional training for 2 months. But even if you go for the institutional training, Even if you go through the institutional training, then also what will happen, like this kind of pop-up will appear and you have to select for institutional training. But the thing is that if you choose institutional training, you will have to go undergo training for 2 months. However, within that 2 months also, 5 weeks you have to go under institutional training and 3 weeks you have to go under a physical surveyor. So the thing is that you wanted to avoid the going to the surveyor, but still if you choose institutional training, then also you will have to go to a surveyor for 3 weeks at least. And there also a practical difficulty, like because the surveyor won't be entertaining any kind of trainee for 3 weeks. Like why would a surveyor would be liking to create a competition within his area? So basically, institutional training also there is some kind of practical difficulty. So if you know any surveyor very nicely, if you know that that particular person is your friend or very good acquaintance, so you can discuss with that particular trainer at the first step itself that whether you would be able to give me 3 week training or not. Because if that person is not willing to give you 3 weeks of training under institutional training, then ultimately your entire procedure will go in vain. And also if you are just going through surveyor, then also you have to be ensured that whether the trainer would be accepting your request or not. So these are some of the practical difficulties in which one undergoes under the training. So while you are filling up the enrollment form, you have to be very careful how you are filling up the enrollment form, because it is going to definitely affect your entire journey. And also at the same time, once you have uploaded the enrollment form, you won't be able to change. So far as I have understood from the uh, like the members of the ISLA and all, like if you have submitted an enrollment application, then you won't be able to change it later on. So if you have done some kind of mistake and supposingly you have submitted the enrollment form and you have cleared the examination, but later on you identify that you have done some kind of mistake in the enrollment form, then what will happen that you will again have to go to the enrollment form, then again fill the enrollment form and then again clear the examination. So while you are filling the enrollment form, be pretty sure that you are filling it correctly, and make sure that you talk with the surveyor before choosing any kind of option, because it is definitely going to affect your later life and entire procedure. And also at the same time, what practical difficulties I have heard, that if one is going through institutional training, then one when is applying for the Islam membership, then what happens that during Islam membership they are asking for the details of the trainer, and if you provide detail of the institutional training, then they don't provide the membership. This is the practical difficulty. The ISLA provide membership mostly in the cases when you undergo training under 6 months from a surveyor. So this is also one kind of a practical difficulty. So I would suggest you that first you go through some kind of helpline numbers. I would be providing helpline numbers at the end. At the end, however, you too also talk with the surveyor in your area or call on the helpline numbers and try to get an idea that whether they would be willing to give you the membership if you undergo institutional training. Because if you undergo the institutional training, you will have to pay something for the institutional training, and after paying the institutional training, if the ISLA refuses you to give you the membership, then definitely it would be a too much waste of time and energy. So this is basically the site of IRDA where you will have to do the enrollment. Once you do the enrollment, once you submit the application for the enrollment, you can check it from here, view application status, and here you can see that whether your approval has been application has been accepted or not. Like mine was submitted in the 3rd March of 2022 and it was approved approximately within a month. So it takes around 20 to 30 days to get the approval, and after you get the enrollment number, then you can move on to the registration. So after the enrollment is completed, then you can move on for the registration. And for registration purpose, you have to go to the Insurance Institute of India website. So if the enrollment is not done, you can't do the registration. Like these are two different activity. So don't confuse it that if you have done the enrollment, then you have become eligible to give the examination. No, before giving the examination, you will have to do the registration in the Insurance Institute of India.com. And also people confuse that if the registration is done, that it means that they are also eligible to give the examination, which has actually happened with me. Like from the person I was taking the training, that person told me to do the registration, I did the registration. And then I was seeing that when the slot booking time came, I saw that I am not being able to select the paper. Then I asked what happened. Then that particular person said that registration is a different activity, and registering for the and paper enrollment is a different activity. So these are all different activities. Like enrollment is a different activity, registration is a different activity, and paper enrollment is a different activity. So don't confuse all these activity to be one. First do the enrollment, then do the registration in the triple I site, and then do the paper enrollment. So once you receive the enrollment, you are eligible to do the registration under this triple-I.com. However, you can't do the registration anytime, because like there is some kind of fixed period. Like as I told that you have to download the resources. So from the resources, there is a calendar where you can see that when you can do the registration. So you can't do registration anytime and anytime during the year. You can do the registration only at a particular time which is being shown in the calendar. And after you have received the enrollment, then only you will be able to do the registration. So make sure that you have got that particular calendar with you, which I have already provided in the slide, where you can download it. And then you can see that when is the registration date, and on that particular time range, you can do the registration. And after the registration is done, you would be having the login and password, and then you would be able to do the paper enrollment. And during the registration, they would be asking for the enrollment number, which you have been receiving from the IRDA BAP portal. For registration, follow this link. I have mentioned the link, that is the insuranceinstituteofindia.com. Then there is exam registration, then surveyor examination, then paper enrollment surveyor online exam. And you will have to pay for 500 plus GST. And this is not for the purpose of giving examination. This is just for the registration purpose. You have to pay 500 plus GST. It has got nothing to do with the examination. So don't confuse that if you have done the payment of 500 plus GST, then you are eligible to give the examination. No, you will have to do the paper enrollment separately. And then as I have told, like use examination handbook second page for the calendar purpose. So you will have to download the examination handbook. Once you download the examination handbook, you would be able to know that when you can do the registration and when you can do the paper enrollment and slot booking. So download that particular examination handbook to get an idea. And then there is procedure for paper enrollment. Like as I already told that these are all separate activities. Don't confuse any activity to be same with the other. Like first you did the enrollment, then you did the registration, and now you have to do the paper enrollment. So after registration, you can now move on to the paper enrollment. Make sure you don't just register yourself and think that you are enrolled too. I did this mistake, and because of that my exam got postponed. So there was no one to guide me properly, and because of that my exam got postponed twice, because that person didn't give me the information even after his mistake of misinforming me that when I have to do the registration and all. Because of that, I had to skip my examination twice. So don't be dependent. Download that particular examination handbook, and you would be able to have an idea that when is the examination and when you need to do the paper enrollment. So after registration, again go to exam registration. This is the particular link. You can take the screenshot, and also at the same time, as I already told that I have provided the entire thing in the YouTube video too. So you can go through that particular video and you would be able to see. So this is the link, that is the exam registration, surveyor examination, paper enrollment, surveyor online exam. and then you have to select every paper for which you have enrolled. So you would be able to see the enrolled paper, and then you have to pay for every paper separately 500 plus GST. Let me show you the site of this Insurance Institute of India. So this is the particular site. However, these are the particular tabs being shown, but these are the tabs being shown because you have not signed in. Once you sign in, then the tabs would change and you would be able to see separate some separate tabs too. However, from here you would be able to download the resources like which I already told. Like if you go to this particular site, Insurance Institute of India Examination Handbook, then in this examination handbook, you would be able to see the calendar where you would be able to from where you would be able to know that when is the registration date and when is the paper enrollment date. You would be having a bit of clarity. So from this particular site you can download this examination handbook. And also to confirm if you are enrolled, then you can do this one particular thing, that is go to the exam registration surveyor examination and go to view, and you would be able to see that whether you have been whether you have enrolled for the examination or not, because it can happen that you might be mistakenly haven't followed the procedure properly, and you might have not actually enrolled for the paper, and you might be having a misconception that you are enrolled for the paper, and when the real slot time booking come, you won't be able to slot the book you won't be able to book the slots because you haven't enrolled for the paper at the first place. So to ensure that you have enrolled, follow the following procedure. And obviously I would be saying the link, then it won't be making any kind of sense because these are all theoretical. When you would be doing this practically, then you will have to follow all this. At this particular time you can do one thing, is that you can take the screenshot of this slide or go through my YouTube video. Now this is the fourth activity, that is the slot booking. So first was enrollment, then second was registration, then there was paper enrollment, and now this is slot booking. What is slot booking? So basically in this you are selecting the time and the date and the location where you would be giving this particular examination. So after the enrollment is complete, you can move on to the book slot for the examination. In this, you need to select the date and the time of the paper. Do check the slot booking dates from the examination handbook. And it is in the examination handbook, the second page is the calendar, so you can go through it. However, like they keep on making some kind of changes, so it can happen that instead of second page, it can be on the third page. So go through it. And exam dates are mostly scheduled on the Saturday and Sunday. Make sure to book the slots as early as possible on opening, else you won't be able to choose the desired date and time. Like what happened that I delayed booking the slot, and because of that, what happened that I had back-to-back examinations, and because of that, I was having a bit of difficulty. Though luckily, I was managed to clear all the examination. But make sure that when the slots are available, book the slots as early as possible, because other people book the slots, then you won't be able to choose that particular slot. So you choose the slot at the first place so that you have the convenience of time, date and time. And then again the follow this direction: exam registration, surveyor examination, slot booking. So you can again take the screenshot of this and you can save in your gallery. Then you have to select the subject, center, exam date, exam slot, venue, some, and then submit it. And when you have submitted it, then you have to download the hall ticket which you have to take to the exam hall. So these are the books. Like if you are a chartered accountant, that then I would like these are the books I had gone through. and like you will have to check your eligibility criteria. If you are not a chartered accountant, if you are btech, then you have to check on the eligibility criteria. You can check it on online. You can just type the eligibility criteria to become surveyor and loss assessor, and you would be able to see that what are the eligibilities. So as I am a chartered accountant, so according to my eligibility, I had chosen like marine cargo insurance principal and underwriting, marine insurance claim. So marine cargo insurance and marine insurance claim are one subject only. These are not two subjects. Then the another department was of the miscellaneous insurance, which a chartered accountant can do, and the another was fire insurance claims. And the principles and practice of insurance and survey and loss assessment is a mandatory paper. You don't have to choose. It is mandatory that you will have to clear this particular examination, and and along with this mandatory paper you have to select the department exam which you want to clear. So if you want to give one exam along with the mandatory paper, you can give one exam. If you want to give two exam, then you can give two exam, but you can't give more than four exam in total. Basically you can only choose three departments, you can't choose four departments. Like chartered accountant also can go for LOP, loss of profit, but since I can only choose three departments, so I choose these three departments. Now since I have got the hard books, so how you can get this particular hard book? So after the registration is completed in the insuranceinstituteofindia.com, you can then purchase the physical books of the subject. So basically after you have logged in into this particular site, then only you would be able to buy the books. That too after the registration is completed. If the registration is not completed, you won't be getting the option to buy the book. If you have done the registration, then you would be getting the option to buy the book. Again, I have written the procedure, that is follow this. Go to the particular site, then go to study material, purchase online, then study material, and choose hard copy. They also provide ebook, but I would personally suggest that you can go for the hard copy, because uh, like it's a science thing that when you read from the hard copy, then there is a high chances that you would be able to retain better. So basically I personally recommend that one should go for the hard copy. Alternatively, you can buy the book from any nearby institute. So if there is Insurance Institute of India like institute nearby your place, then you can either go to that particular institute and buy the book instead of buying from the online, because till you are not registered you won't be able to purchase online. But if there is an any kind of institute nearby, even if you're not registered, then also you would be able to go to that particular institute and buy the book. And the books are mostly in between the 200 and 300, 250 to 350 pages. These are like all the subjects are like within this particular pages range. Now the exam pattern and the related details. So once you have booked the slot, you need to reach the exam center on the confirmed date and time at least 15 minutes before the exam. As per my experience, actually theoretically it is being told that you have to visit the site, exam site, before 45 minutes of the examination. But personally, which I have experienced, that even if you reach within 15 minutes, then also it would be sufficient. Because most of the time what happens that when you visit that particular exam site, they haven't even opened the examination site. So even if you reach before 15 minutes before the examination, then also it would be sufficient. However, theoretically is it is being told that you have to reach 45 minutes before the examination. And you have to like the in the exam admit form, there is a photo of the exam center is also attached, and the exam is of 100 marks with 100 MCQs. And so basically it is like all the MCQs are present, you don't have to write anything in it. Minimum marks which you need to clear is 60 marks, and there is no negative marking. So even if the answer is wrong, then there would be no negative marking in it. Exam is based on checking your applicability of knowledge and memory power too. So basically it would try to check your common sense, your intelligence, and at the same time it would be checking your memory, because it does ask how many days and how many years it is applicable. So it is checking your memory a lot, and also at the same time your applicability of the knowledge. Make sure to carry the hall ticket, voter ID or the Aadhaar card, and the calculator. And for the calculator purpose, they already have a scientific calculator installed in their system, so you can either use the calculator of the system, or you can also use the physical calculator. They won't be stopping you from using the physical calculator. And you can also ask for the rough sheet in the examination hall. So I use the exam rough sheet to calculate like whether the I have been able to attend the enough questions to clear the exam or not, or to do the rough working. So I ask for the rough sheet, and they do provide the rough sheet. So you can also ask for it. And these are the helpline numbers which I was talking about in the beginning. You can take the screenshot of these numbers. So if you want to take do an inquiry with respect to anything that you want some kind of information, then you can contact on this particular numbers. Or also at the same time that you can go to the IRDA BAP portal. Like this is the this is the portal where you would be doing the enrollment. So within the enrollment itself, there is a support help desk where you can create login and password for the support purpose. Let me show you. This is the support help desk from where you can inquire. So basically for this also you will have to create a user ID and password
Abhishek
separately.
ji, it is not visible. It is disconnected, I think.
Okay, wait a minute. Is the screen visible right now?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Otherwise, it would have been a waste of time. So basically, for the purpose of the helpline, like as I already told that I have provided the number, so you can contact on that particular number, or also at the same time, like this is the IRDA BAP portal. So in this, you would be doing the enrollment. Like for the enrollment, you have to go to the trainee and then surveyor training and enrollment. But also at the same time, if you have some kind of inquiry, then you will have to create a separate user ID password for this in the support help desk. And also at the same time, like here is also the help desk team number provided has been provided. You can see in the first point itself, so you can call them. The timing has been provided, so you can call them in this particular number. I hope they pick up the call. Most of the time they don't pick up the call. So these are some of the ways by which you can take some help from the institute itself. So I try to give as much as possible, like all the theoretical knowledge and the practical knowledge I had got as of now. And there are actually more things to cover, but I think this would be enough. However, I would definitely suggest that first thing you need to do is like whatever the resources I have provided, download those resources and then follow the procedure. And definitely try to find a surveyor at your place and talk to that particular surveyor and take an idea, because theoretically there are a lot many things being told that if this is followed then you would become a surveyor, but practically there are too many difficulties. As I already told that if you are doing institutional training, then then isla doesn't provide the membership easily, because you have to upload the surveyor detail in it. And if you submit the detail of institutional training, then they doesn't consider it as a surveyor, and because of that the membership gets postponed. Or even if you get a membership, then you can use that particular membership only if you enter into job. You won't be able to do practical, you won't be able to do individual practice with it. So there are some kind of practical issues which you have to take care of before starting this particular journey. Otherwise it would be a bit late. You would be using a lot of time, energy and money, and then you would be regretting that you have taken a wrong decision. So before entering into this, you should be having an idea that where you are going. So practically, which I have been able to understand is that if you go through the surveyor training, then you would be getting the Islam membership easily, and also you would be able to get the student membership from the ISLA easily. But if you choose institutional training, then there would be a difficulty in getting student membership from the ISLA, and also at the same time there would be a difficulty from getting the proper membership from the ISLA. And even if you get the membership, then also you would be able to use it only for the job purpose and not for the purpose of practice. So make sure that you understand that where you are going. Try to take as much support from the seniors and nearby surveyor as possible, because I had also done a lot of mistake. I had paid so much money here and there, and then I was only got to know that I have been just fooled and nothing else. So I do help people in clearing the examination. Nowhere I guarantee that I would be providing the membership of the Islam. So I just help people to clear the examination, and at the same time whatever knowledge I have, I try to share as much as possible, so that if it help people, then it would be very good. Because I don't want to fraud people, because of which they, after clear the examination, they feel that they are now helpless. Now they are not able to get the membership, and because of that they would just run here and there, and they won't be getting any kind of benefit. So I hope I am clear whatever I have said, and if there is any kind of question, then you can write on the chat box. I will try to answer it. GSK Verma CMA, hard or e-book study material cost included in the exam fee, or I have to additionally for each subject? You have to pay. Yes, obviously you will have to pay additionally for each subject. When you are paying for the paper enrollment, then you are just paying for the examination purpose. Like when you are paying for the registration, it's just for the registration, that is 500 plus GST. After that, you are doing the paper enrollment. For that, you have to pay separately 500 plus GST for each subject. And after that, you have to pay separately for each study material again. It's not included in the exam fees. Hmm. Can you please tell what ISLA is? It's not ISLA, actually triple ISLA, and it's a website, and they are providing the membership to become the surveyor and loss assessor. So it's a later stage thing, and whatever the helplines I have provided, you can contact in that, and they would be able to give more detailed information about how to do the processing. However, if you download the resources and go through it, then you would yourself be able to do the enrollment and all the procedure easily. What is the fee of institutional training? Okay, this is also one of the things that people don't tell in this particular industry who are doing the coaching thing. Because if they answer this particular question, then what happens that the most of the people don't opt for the coaching. Like what happens that in the institutional training, you will have to pay for 50,000 plus GST. And also, like supposingly if you are doing institutional training and you just cleared the main mandatory subject and one department, then you will have to pay about 50,000 plus GST. And supposingly in later on you have again cleared another two department, then again you have to pay 10,000 plus GST for each department. Or you can do one thing is that either you can choose three department, clear all the three department, and then can choose the institutional training. And in that case, the entire fees would be 50,000 plus GST. So more or less you would be able to save around 20 to 25,000 rupees if you opt for institutional training after clearing three departments. I wrongly filed the form in the license state, but now it's not allowed for student as PAN card number clashes. Yeah, this is also a practical problem. They would be saying that you will have to reapply for it. That's why I told that one have to be very careful when they are applying for the application, because once the application is filed, they accept it as it is and they don't allow it to change. And if they change, then you would be pretty very lucky in it, but usually they don't do the changes. and you have to again apply for the enrollment and all, and then you have to again go for the examination. So this is a bit of practical difficulty. CA can do the practice of surveyor along with CA practice. Yes, CA can do the practice of surveyor along with CA practice. Can we enroll for mandatory training paper once and after passing schedule for the other papers in subsequent terms? Along with mandatory paper, you have to give exam of at least one department, because while you are like when you are doing the enrollment, then you have to select the department. If you are not selecting any department, enrollment form is incomplete, and if it's incomplete, how it will get submitted? So basically you will have to choose a department. So along with a mandatory subject, you have to clear one exam at least. However, it can happen that if you clear one examination and like you don't want to give 4 to 5 of 3 to 4 examination, you just want to give two examination, then give the paper of mandatory paper is mandatory obviously, and then out of the other department you can choose one department and give that particular examination, and after 3 months you can give the examination of other two departments as you feel like. Can all the licensed surveyor are eligible for training? No, it's like if you have got if that particular surveyor is 8 years experience, then only they would be able to give you training. So basically you have to be associate. If that surveyor is associate or fellow, then they would be able to give you the training. Not every surveyor would be able to give you the training. How many papers we can take on a single day? In a single day, like I had like as I told that if you're not doing the slot booking on the first place, if you are a bit procrastinating it, then you will have to choose among the time which is being available out there, and it had happened with me also. So I had procrastinated it till the last date, and because of that I had to give two examination on a single day. So you can give maximum of two subjects in a single day. Is ISLA continually denying student membership to people going for institutional training? What is the role of IRDAI in this? See, as I have already told that I had cleared the examination, but practically I haven't applied for it. But I have been able to go through all this thing from the practical experiences of the other students and the surveyors who are in this field. So far as I have heard that the people who are going for institutional training, the ISLA is continually actually declining for the membership to the students. So this is a practical issues, and because of which many people are taking opportunities and doing fraud, like they are taking money from the student and saying that I will get membership for you, you can pay me, and it has actually happened. Like many people are paying 20-30,000 to some random people because they say that they are the member of ISLA and they will get the membership to them, but in actually it is not happening. So institution going through the institutional training is a bit difficult to get the membership through the ISLA. It is highly recommended that you go through a surveyor route, because even if you choose the institutional training, then also you have to go through 3 weeks of surveyor training. So if you are able to find a surveyor, then it would be better that if you go through 6 months of from the training, and you would be at the same time you would be able to save 50 to 60,000 rupees which you have to give in the institutional training. Can CS CMA also be eligible to appear for the exam? I can't be commenting upon this. Like as I already told, you have to check the eligibility criteria, and I have provided the entire resources in my slide. And if you have not been attending the webinar from the very starting, then also it doesn't matter. Like you can go through my YouTube video, which where I have provided the link of the entire resources. So, or you can at the same time just Google it, that what is the eligibility criteria to become a surveyor and loss assessor, and then you can go through the PDF which comes into first 2 3 links, and you can see that whether CS or CMA is covered or not. Many qualifications are being provided, so you have to check for your qualification whether you are eligible or not. How to decide under whom to take training, whether to find a trainer from the city. Is training subject wise or common for all subject? um, so far as I have been able to identify that there is a condition that you have to get a trainer within 200-kilometer radius of your city. So you have to find in and around your city itself. And yes, you have to like, it's a common for all the subjects, you have to go through the training from that particular survey itself. And you will have to find a trainer. Institute is not going to provide you the trainer. And how to decide under whom to take training? Basically, the trainer who is available, you can go under the training, because usually the surveyors are not willing to give the training, because if they give the training, you become the surveyor and you become the surveyor within the city, then obviously his competition would be increasing. Then why would that particular surveyor would be giving you training? So if any trainer is available, go under that particular trainer and opt for his training. IRDAI regulation clearly mentions that the ISLA can't deny membership once license is granted. If the license is granted, then obviously they can't deny. But the thing is that uh, practically they delay it a lot, and it delay it so much that it's like you can think that they are in actually not granted at all. These are some practical issues, like that's why I told that you should visit some surveyor within your city range, and also you should contact on the like the helpline numbers, because these are gray areas, can't be committed with a like certainty that okay, this is actually happening or this is not happening, because many people are actually suffering by doing the institutional training, and some have got the membership. And but the thing is that even if they have got the membership, they are not given the student membership, which one has to do after the enrollment is done. So because of that, what happens that they are not eligible to the individual practice, they can just do the job. So these are some of the practical difficulties. That's why I told provided you the helpline number, so there can be many kind of issues, and you can ask those issues on that particular helpline number and mail them, because there can be a lot of issues which even I don't know, but they might be able to help you. How the training will be? During training, can't we practice our profession? Is there any fees? Are we being paid for the work we do? Yes, when you are doing the when you are doing the internship, then you would be definitely be paid. However, obviously you won't be able to do the practice because you have to attend the training. So when you are doing the training, how you can do the practice of yours? So basically, you will have to go to that particular trainer and practice, do the training. Like in the CA practice, what we do in articleship, you will have to do the same for the surveyor. Is there any annual membership fees like a C or CAMA? After you register for the ISLA, if you get the ISLA membership, then you have to pay for the renewal purposes. CMA is eligible for the fire, marine, cargo, miscellaneous, and LOP categories. Okay, good. So you can choose from this particular department which suits you. Can you please share your YouTube channel link, please? Uh, like I am providing my user ID in it. Like if you type the user ID, and also at the same time you don't require any kind of link, just write insurance and surveyor and loss assessor CA Abhishek Agarwal, and my video would pop up. Okay. Can you please explain about institutional training again? Basically, it's like the institution is arranging the training for you, but they are also at the same time asking you to do the 3 weeks of training under separate surveyor. So recently, this law has been incorporated to help the students, but it actually creating difficulty. Like earlier, what was happening that 1 year of internship was mandatory under a surveyor. Then now it has got reduced from 1 year to 6 months, and also an alternative is being provided that one can go for the institutional training, where you can do the training from the Insurance Institute of India for 2 months. But even in that particular 2 months, you have to undergo 3 weeks of training under a surveyor. So even if you're not want to go for 6 months of training under a surveyor, then also you will have to ultimately go for 3 weeks of training under a surveyor. After getting a license, how can we get the work through the panel of the insurance companies or find works on our own? Basically, you get empaneled with the insurance companies and they only outsource the works to you. What is the fee to the triple I for the training? As I already told during the webinar, that is minimal is 50,000 plus GST. Plus, at the same time, if you are not applying for the training for all the departments together, and if you just apply for the training after clearing one or two subjects, then you will have to pay separately 10,000 plus GST for any additional department you want to do the training in the later on. Where we can get the institution list for the institutional training. You can, like as I already told, there are a lot many questions even I won't be knowing, so you can just go through the helpline number, call them and can inquire. So far as I know that Insurance Institute of India is one of the institution which is providing this particular institutional training. Apart from it, I haven't heard that somebody is going undergoing training with any other institutions. Practice of CA with Practice of CA with the training simultaneously or surrender COP. Practice simultaneously with the COP. You don't have to surrender the COP. In institutional training, how many days of the training per week and how hours each in each session? That you need to discuss with the surveyor itself, that the surveyor would be discussing. It's just like the internship or in the CA where the it is told that internship time would be like 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. But in actually when you are going for the training, then the principal decides that what would be your training. So basically you have to decide with the surveyor. Can without surrendering our CSCOP we can do the training under surveyor? Yes, you can do it. Triple I and National Academy of Insurance. Yes, correct, Prakash. Prakash ji, National Academy of Insurance is also for the institutional training. So I guess most of the things I have covered, and there can be a more technical things which even I won't be knowing. So that's why I have provided the helpline numbers in the slide. So you can go through the helpline number and can, like as I already told, go to this support help desk and ask the questions so that you can get the reply. There are a lot many technical difficulties in it. So before proceeding for any before enrollment, try to approach the nearby surveyor in your area, because if you, even if you clear the examination and you are not being able to go for the training, then what is the use of getting enrolled and getting the examination done? So before doing the enrollment thing, try to approach the surveyor within 200-kilometer radius. And I am already telling you that I am not a complete surveyor and loss assessor. I have just cleared the examination, and so I basically help people to clear the examination. So there can be a lot of practical issues which other people might be going through while doing while going for the Islam membership. So you have to discuss with the surveyor in your nearby area. They would be able to give more practical insights into it. how to locate or trace a particular surveyor. So far as I know that there is a kind of like if you search on the Google, then there would be a list of the insurers which are available in the particular place, and from there you would be able to get the details. You will have to check it on online. I haven't checked that particular thing on online, but as I have heard that this is possible, like you can search in the Google and you would be able to get the information of the surveyors nearby. Okay, then everybody, thank you so much for attending this particular webinar. I hope that I have been able to add some value to your this journey toward the surveyor and loss assessor. I tried my level best to give my entire knowledge to you so that you don't get fraud by some people in your journey. Like even I was got a bit of fraud from the people because they don't give the entire information, and because of that you just go on wandering from place to place and you just lose money and time energy. Okay, everybody. So I am closing this particular webinar, and I am opening the and if it was helpful, then give a bit of feedback into the group itself. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for attending.